Here's what your Deadlock main says about you. If you main Abrams, then all you can really think about is punching the nearest enemy that you see, using your abilities, or using your weapon, or just a waste of time when you can keep on punching. Nothing pisses you off anymore than the parry key. Bebop mains, however, have some things on their mind. All they seem to care about is running around the map, hooking as many enemies as possible, while also, most importantly, getting as many stacks on that bomb as possible. It is literally the only thing that matters to them. If they bait their teammates into certain deaths, but they do get a few stacks out of it, then to them, it was worth it. All for that sweet, sweet combo. As for Dynamo mains, they seem too concerned with teleporting their teammates to even consider whether they should, and more often than not, end up getting everyone involved killed. Dynamo mains are either completely clueless and might end up hitting a good ultimate every once in a while, or absolute gods who utilize his kit perfectly, but still end up losing since the team just won't follow up. If you play great Talon, then odds are you're finding yourself in the 25+ bracket. Your back hurts and your knees are just in pain whenever it's about to start raining. Great Talon mains either pick the hero because they want to snipe, or just because they relate to the old man representation. Either that or the old man energy is eating at them like the symbiote. If you play great Talon, you will also try to owl at the perfect moment, which is whenever the owl comes off cooldown. Also, speaking of 25+, that is apparently a pretty big part of my audience. So here's a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. Dude, what the hell? What? Dude, I can't even stand this lag. It makes the game unplayable, especially now that a new patch is out. Load up your gear booster. Oh yeah, thanks Floating Me. Lots of you have been asking me, how do you actually lower your ping? Here's a tool that I've been using, which is GearUP Booster. And of course, lots of pros are using it, so you know it's not bannable. As you might know, in almost every video game, servers will always randomly assign users to connect to a sub-server, which is more often than not that close by. For instance, if you live in the LA, you'll probably connect to the sub-server and all the way in New York instead of US LA, which will lead to bad ping. By using GearUP and selecting the server that you always play at, you will stay on the lowest ping like you're supposed to. This is the difference in ping when I have GearUP on and when I have it off. So make sure to check out GearUP yourself by using the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Thank you so much to GearUP for sponsoring this video. As for Haze mains, you already know that they're going to be extremely toxic. I'm not sure what brings it out of them, but after playing Haze just for a few games, I was already starting to flame the enemies, my teammates, my dog, my internet, my computer, you know, anything that I could. There's just something about Haze that makes you a really miserable person. But what's funny is that the more toxic a Haze is, the more capable they will be of carrying. If you are an Infernus main, then odds are you're gonna be farming the entire game. You're used to just getting absolutely demolished in lane, and if you haven't already, you'll probably start muting the entire team before the game even starts. You don't want to fight unless you have a 20,000 souls lead on your enemies and your teammates, so you usually just put on a good podcast and get to work. As for Ivy mains, I am convinced these guys have some serious beer goggles at all times, because if you ask them to describe Ivy, they'll somehow describe her as a cute anime girl instead of the horrific gargoyle that she really is.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
If you play Kelvin, you're either what I want to call a hyper support person, like somebody who just loves to support their teammates and all you care about is supporting them to the best of your abilities, or you are the devil who revel in the opportunity to slow down all their enemies and turn them into free kills, or, you know, trap them in a big ice bubble and just have them die while their teammates can do nothing but stand there and watch. Either way, you're a dick. Lady Geist mains are used to either dealing a ton of damage, probably the most in any game they play, or they just don't do anything at all. But whether you are an insane DPS carry or straight up dead weight, one thing is for certain: if you're low health, you're gonna find yourself waiting right around the corner for the enemy to walk by. Lash players seem to know nothing but trying to go for the flashiest plays possible, and they seem to approach every game like the floor is lava. After a few tough games of trial and error, all that matters is hitting the biggest ults possible, either away from the mid boss or into the spawn. But it's safe to say that Lash ultimates make or break the game, and they know it. McGinnis players seem to be allergic to to using their own weapons. They rely on their turrets to do all the heavy lifting for them, to the point where almost all the popular builds are either for turrets or for the ultimates, just anything that has nothing to do with their gun. McGinnis players also seem more likely to be playing PvE than any other hero in the game. At any point in the game, they're either farming or constantly just split pushing objectives on their own while their teammates are dying across the map. As long as they can take a turret or a walker, it is worth it. Mirage players probably just learned that looking at the minimap is pretty good. They're probably overcompensating by now, and they're just looking at it all the damn time instead of actually looking at what they're supposed to be shooting. When playing it, their biggest priority is just hitting as many stacks as possible rather than last hitting. I'm pretty sure they don't even farm at this point. They literally just aim at the enemy laners trying to get as many stacks as they can, because if they hit their enemy for an 8 stack or even a 12 stack, oh man, you are cooking. But all the Mo and Krill players want to do is run around the map, slurp up as much farm as possible with that insane movement speed, and just get really stacked, I guess for nothing really. But if there is any jungle farm that they can take or any wave that they can clear, you bet your ass they're gonna be right there. This is probably a learned behavior, especially from having their teammates bait them after their ultimate one too many times. Paradox mains love the challenge of the game, probably a little bit too much. They want to make things as hard for themselves as possible. Paradox mains will work their asses off to get maybe one kill that any other hero would have gotten by pressing one button. And of course, they think that they're better than everyone else because of it. Pocket players are different. Instead of playing the game for objectives and farming, they seem to be more focused on getting a lot of kills and getting them fast. Styling on enemies matters more than winning, and getting a bunch of kills is the most important, even if you end up dying when doing so. 7 players are a whole different type of toxic, and will spend the whole game farming as much as they can so they can solo wipe the enemy team. Just like Haze players, the more toxic a 7 is, apparently the harder he is gonna pop off. But generally, they just seem to farm up while they keep flaming their team until they eventually pop off and kill everyone in the last battle 40 minutes into the game. If their strat of split pushing, farming, getting the most souls in the game, and never joining a team fight doesn't work out, it's still somehow not their fault, and they will flame their teammates instead. As for Shiv, most Shiv players probably only play him because they are so tired of playing against him, and by locking Shiv, they're guaranteed not to play against him. The remaining 10% of Shiv players probably just play him so they can steamroll with some free kills and hit easy one-shot combos with their ultimate. I wouldn't know, I just don't think anyone who plays Shiv actually enjoys the game, okay? I'm just gonna say it. Moving on though, Vindicta mains either have an unhealthy obsession with feet, where nothing brings them joy like hearing the tipper-tapper of Vindicta's bare dogs on the pavement, or they are FPS gamers who just want to shoot and deal a lot of damage. These Vindicta mains probably get a ton of kills every single game, but still somehow end up losing. Viscous mains are just trolly in nature and find an insane amount of pleasure from puddle punching the enemies all around the map. They usually giggle to themselves every time they stun an enemy with their goo ball, and completely lose their mind if they trap an enemy inside of a room with them. If you are a Warden main, you're probably into some freaky shit, because all Wardens seem to do is want to slow enemies down so that they can tie them up and keep them in jail. Singling out that one target, slowing them down and turning them into the easiest kill of their life seems to be what Warden mains really live for. If you're a Wraith main, you are allergic to a fair fight, and odds are you want to play as ratty as possible. Even better if you can use an item like Veilwalker or Shadow Weave, so you can get close and get a free kill with your ultimate, without them being able to even fight back in the first place. Wraith mains definitely don't enjoy the game anymore, because they haven't had a fair duel in forever, and if you are the tiny minority who used to enjoy Wraith with gun builds and just shooting the enemies, you've probably moved on from the game, and you're probably not even watching this video, if I'm gonna be honest. But if you're a Yamato main, you are a weeb. It wouldn't surprise me if you can recite and translate all of Yamato's voice lines, both the old and the new. You probably love Japan more than anything else. You probably keep an entire box of hentai under your bed as well. Disgusting. But that was all of the mains. Did I hit the mark? Let me know in the comments. Check out the video on the screen for another banger. And I'll see you all next time. Bye. Peace.